Divine Master and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avadara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Yate Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityormamritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the God Supreme Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying Sri Ramakrishna's teachings in great detail. The more we study, the more we get most important points to dwell upon. In the last few classes I have dealt with Sri Ramakrishna, the ideal. The ideal has been set up. The paths have been shown. Instructions are clearly given. What next? You have to practice them. You have to practice in order to get the fruit. So that is the topic which I am dealing now, the spiritual practice. Because I am dealing with this subject in a very, very general way. How it is very important to transform our consciousness. So, spiritual effort is extremely important to change the course of our life from the worldly oriented life into spiritually oriented one. When we speak of spirituality, it means what? It means cleansing our mind from all dirt and dust. You have to have well-established formation of the character, which is very essential in spiritual life. You must be aware of the weaknesses and you must be aware of the solutions and you must be aware of doing them seriously and sincerely. It depends upon how much you are desiring to have spiritual life. Sailing in two boats will not work. I want enjoyment of the world, at the same time I want the vision of God. It is just impossible. So, but then you can say, we are all living in the world, we are this, that. What of that? That's why you are suffering. That's why you are suffering. You are passing through the channel of pain and pleasure all the time. No moment of your worldly life brings you real peace or real happiness. You will always have some kind of hurt feelings. Every moment you will be pricked by some things. Even something goes in the street, it pricks here. Because the mind is so much diverted outwardly. It is just spoiled in that process. And how difficult it is to bring it back, cleanse it, focus it, realize the truth. But then, even if it is difficult, we have to do it. We have to do it. So, in the path of devotion, spiritual effort consists mainly in opening one's mind and heart to grace, which brings about the needed transformation of consciousness. And the method of approach, that's also very important for us to note clearly. The path of knowledge is essentially that of negation. You reject whatever that is unreal, go on rejecting it, finally you arrive at the truth. While the path of bhakti or devotion is not that of negation, but that of affirmation. Swami Chidananda ji, one of the great disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, has said in the Great Master, he says, generally speaking, the effort in search of the reality beyond the universe has taken its course along two main channels. One channel is what has been called in the scriptures neti, neti. That is, not this, not this. The channel of negation, which is also called the path of knowledge, Jnana Marga. And the other one, the path of affirmation, iti, iti, this. And this is the path of devotion. In the former path, the ultimate reality, Brahman, is regarded as devoid of attributes. So the aspirant goes on negating the attributes experienced in empirical life until he attains identity with the attributeless absolute. In Buddhism, this negation process is carried to the extent of negating even an ultimate reality. In the path of devotion, in the path of bhakti, the aspirant begins with meditation on certain attributes of God, which are within the field of ordinary experience. As we progress, these attributes get more and more divinized until the light of the deity shines through them all. It is a progressive affirmation, iti, of the higher and higher attributes of God. In Patanjali's yoga, these two paths, known respectively as asampragnata and sampragnata, they alternate each other through a series of stages. The two paths described above, Jnana Marga and Bhakti Marga, only indicate the direction in which the goal lies. But to follow it, one should adopt certain spiritual practices called yogas. In Vedantic usage, the word yoga, it's a Sanskrit word, it is derived from the root yujir yoge. Yujir yoge, meaning union. Swami Vivekananda says in Complete Works, in one of the volumes, the ultimate goal of all mankind, the aim and end of all religions is but one, reunion with God, or what amounts to the same, with the divinity which is every man's true nature. But while the aim is one, the method of attaining it may vary with the different temperaments of men. Both the goal and the methods employed for reaching God are called yoga, a word derived from the same Sanskrit root as the English yoke, meaning to join us to our reality, God. There are various such yogas or methods of union, but the chief ones are Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Everyone must develop according to one's nature. And the different forms of yogas that we teach are adapted to the different natures and temperaments of men. We classify them under 4 heads. You're all familiar with this. Karma Yoga, the manner in which one realizes one's own divinity through work. Bhakti Yoga, the realization of the divine through devotion to and love of personal God. Then comes Raja Yoga, it means realization of divinity through control of mind. Then Jnana Yoga means the realization of man's own divinity through knowledge. These are all different roads leading to the same center, God. So these are the words of Swami Vivekananda. He has described all these yogas in his Complete Works, volume number 5. The sole cause of human limitation, bondage and misery. What is the sole cause? It is the ego or the lower self. Each yoga may also be looked upon as a particular means of transcending ego. In Sanskrit we call it as ahankar. I am very important for me. I. Die in that I, finally. If you want to save yourself, you have to get rid of I. If you want to drown, you will be hurt 24 hours. The result would be you will be always miserable. So you have to get out of this ego. You are definitely not this false ego. The ego which is causing bondage, the ego which is causing misery, the ego which is causing restlessness, which is causing disturbance, which is causing all sorts of problems, making life more complex, miserable. Nothing more is needed to explain, describe the effect of ego. How many kings are destroyed? How many nations are destroyed? How many people are destroyed just because of this ego? Well, there's a game. In Karma Yoga, this transcending of ego is done through self-sacrifice. Tyagatmaka karma. You are very conscious of your doing the work. Not a trace of self-interest there. Everything is for the sake of God. I am doing. Finished. No more question, no more doubts. Tyagatmaka karma. You have to practice by force if you are not able to sacrifice. You must develop that quality of sacrificing nature. Develop that. Give the best of everything. There's a tendency among some people. I keep on telling this again and again. At least those who come in touch with Vedanta, at least let them follow properly. That's my idea. The point was, people are ready to give something. Oh, here is typewriter, take. Is it a good one? It is used one. Used one. But what about you? I have taken the new one. See, the new one is for him, the used one is for God. What a funny thing. And it's a stupid mind, what I am telling. Stupid mind works. Instead of throwing it away, give it to ashrama, get the benefit of charity. I have donated. He wants receipt for that. What a nonsense. What a nonsense it is. We are practicing spirituality in this manner. What kind of spirituality is that? All used things they give here. One fellow came running to the door. Here is a huge heaps of clothes. Oh, they are all well washed and ironed. What are they? They are all used ones. You can give to somebody. You yourself go and give to somebody. Why should you want us to give them to somebody? He wants to dump them here. As if ashram is a trash bag. Stupidness. To what extent our mind degenerates. Unthink of. Never do it, at least those who are here. If you want to give the best one. Otherwise, don't think of giving. Have your selfishness tight inside your heart. Don't get out of it. Die in that selfishness. That's one way. Otherwise, tear it off totally. Throw it out. Throw all selfishness overboard. There's another way. Don't stand in between and suffer like a miserable creature. One person I was talking about a few days back, do you know why I'm telling you this? I told that particular person, I'm just telling you so that you can inculcate the habit of giving. Habit of giving. Some people don't understand. Blunt mind. You have to tell them and open that door. Then they will realize, yeah, yes. Really. And sometimes purposely I tell them, do this, do that. It's a measure to understand their nature also. And it is an opportunity for him to open up himself. Anyway, it's a nice experience. Spirituality is to be understood properly and live the life. God realization, liberation, all those things will come by itself. Live the life. Get rid of your ego. Get rid of kam, krodh, lobh, moh, mad, matsarya. All these dirty samskaras pulling you all the time. So, in Karma Yoga, you are raising yourself, going beyond your ego through self-sacrifice. In Raj Yoga, it is done through self-control. In Bhakti Yoga, it is done through self-surrender. I am speaking about the excellence of self-surrender some Sunday. I think next month. Self-surrender. Bhakti. What type of bhakti you are having? Bhakti depends upon the foundation of your faith. Tremendous faith in God. Tremendous faith. It means you should not worry for anything. If you start worrying, God will not worry about you. Oh, He is worrying, why should I bother? If you are not bothering yourself, then God bothers about you. That's the beauty of the bhakti. We shall now consider the views of traditional teachers on yoga. It's a very interesting subject. We should know them very thoroughly. All the traditional teachers, in the first place, they accept only 3 yogas. That is, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga as valid means. Patanjali's yoga is regarded as outside the fold of Vedanta. Though some of its basic principles have been integrated into Vedantic theme. Secondly, in the traditional schools, the 3 yogas, Bhakti, Jnana and Karma, are practiced in a particular sequence. In Jnana Marga, the aspirant first practices Karma Yoga for purification of mind, then practices Upasana, which is a combination of meditation and bhakti for the sake of concentration of mind, and finally takes to Jnana Yoga. In Bhakti Marga, the aspirant first practices Karma Yoga for purification of mind. Karma Yoga must be done in order to purify oneself. then practices Jnana Yoga, which is a combination of meditation and Jnana for the realization of his true self, and finally pursues Bhakti Yoga for the realization of God. Another point to note is that though the teachers accept the sequence of yogas, they regard only the final yoga, Jnana, according to Shankara, Bhakti, according to Ramanuj and others, as a direct means of realization. In other words, they don't accept that the highest realization is attained by a synthesis of the yogas. The fourth point is that almost all the traditional teachers are unanimous in holding that Karma Yoga is not an independent or direct means of liberation. Lastly, it should be noted that each traditional school has its own conceptions regarding the different yogas. For instance, Shankaracharya's conception of Bhakti Yoga is not the same as that of Ramanuj, nor is Ramanuja's conception of Jnana the same as that of Shankara. They're all very interesting subject. As a result, the views of traditional schools have for centuries remained conflicting and antagonistic to one another. The meaning of the term yoga and the scope of the different yogas underwent considerable expansion in the hands of the great seer of modern times, Swami Vivekananda. In modern times, we consider Swami Vivekananda as the Acharya. Just like Ramanacharya, Shankaracharya, Vivekananda also is Acharya. Acharya means teacher of the world. Swamiji introduced the following changes into the field of yoga. One, to the traditionally accepted set of three yogas, he added the fourth, the Raja Yoga, by combining the systems of Tantra and Patanjali Yoga. Secondly, he held that each yoga is an independent and equally valid path to liberation. According to him, even Karma Yoga can directly lead to the highest realization. Thirdly, Swami Vivekananda at the same time taught that the best course to be followed by aspirants was a synthesis of the four yogas. Fourthly, Swami Vivekananda showed that different yogas are not mutually contradictory insofar as they led to the same goal. What were contradictory were the different views of the traditional teachers. By reinterpreting the meanings of jnana, bhakti and karma, Swami Vivekananda established their overall harmony. Through his doctrines of harmony and synthesis of the yoga, Swami Vivekananda freed yoga from the narrow limits of tradition and dogma. Lastly, Swami Vivekananda interpreted the yogas in the light of modern knowledge and adopted them to the needs of the modern man. Through the efforts of Swami Vivekananda, yoga has now become a universal spiritual discipline practicable in all walks of life and for all people, irrespective of their differences in culture, race or religion. The two dharmas which I discussed in my last class, pravritti and nivritti, the two margas, the negation, affirmation, and the four yogas, jnana, bhakti, karma, dhyana, together cover the entire gamut of sadhana in Vedanta. The methods of spiritual discipline followed in all other religions could be accommodated within this broad and flexible framework. However, each person has his own spiritual path, and these descriptions are only meant to enable him to recognize and know more about his own true path. Each person has to discover his real path in the depths of his consciousness. This discovery comes in the form of a transformation of consciousness. So the fundamental problem in spiritual life is how to transform one's present state of consciousness. These days, meditation has become very popular. Everywhere people are talking about meditation. But they sit only for 5 minutes. But they talk. Meditation, meditation, meditation. They go for meditation. They spend more time in talking, very little time in meditation. But they talk, I am going there for meditation. That's the paradox. Anyway, many people think that it is the only means of bringing about transformation of consciousness. It must be noted that true meditation is a fairly advanced stage and calls for a higher degree of concentration than most people are capable of. Your meditation depends upon your concentration. Your concentration depends upon your determination. Your determination depends upon your character. Your character depends upon your whole company. So everything is systematized. So we find people who have undergone no appreciable degree of inner transformation even after practicing japa and meditation for many years. Still they are from where they were before. They have not progressed an inch forward in spite of their practicing japa, meditation, because they are not trying to find out the cause for that. Sri Ramakrishna has clearly pointed out why people don't get on in spite of their spiritual practices. That particular point I will speak next Tuesday. The same topic I will continue. You are all welcome to that program. Page 604. Master said to the devotees, Sri Krishna has a peacock feather on his crest. The feather bears the sign of the female sex. The significance of this is that Krishna carries Prakriti, the female principle, on his head. When Krishna joined the circle of the gopis to dance with them, he appeared there as a woman. That's why you see him wearing women's apparel in the company of the gopis. Unless a man assumes the nature of a woman, he is not entitled to her company. Assuming the attitude of a woman, he can sport with her and enjoy her company. But a man must be extremely careful during the early stages of spiritual discipline. Then he must live far away from any woman. He must not go too close to one, even if she is a great devotee of God. You see, a man must not sway his body while climbing to the roof. He may fall. Weak people should hold on to a support while going up the stairs. But it is quite different from one reaches one, but it is quite different when one reaches perfection. After the realization of God, there is not much for a man to fear. He has become to a great extent secure. The important thing is for a man somehow to climb to the roof. After that he can even dance there. But he can't dance on the steps. Again, after climbing to the roof, you need no longer discard what you discarded before. You find that the stairs are made of the same materials, bricks, lime and brick dust, as the roof. The woman you have to be so careful about at the beginning will appear to you after the realization of God as the Divine Mother herself. Then you will worship her as the Divine Mother. You won't fear her so much. The thing is to touch the granny as children do in the game of hide and seek. Then you can do whatever you like. Man looking outward sees the gross. At that time his mind dwells in the Annamaya Kosha, the gross body. Next is the subtle body. Functioning through the subtle body, the mind dwells in the Manomaya Kosha and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Next is a causal body. Functioning through the causal body, the mind enjoys bliss. It dwells in the Anandamaya Kosha. This corresponds to the semi-conscious state experienced by Chaitanya. Last of all, the mind loses itself in the great cause. It disappears. It merges in the great cause. What one experiences after that cannot be described in words. In his inmost state of consciousness, Chaitanya enjoyed this experience. Do you know what this state is like? Dayananda described it by saying, come into the inner apartments and shut the door. Anyone and everyone cannot enter that part of the house. I used to meditate on the flame of a light. I thought of the red part as gross, the white part inside the red as subtle, and the stick-like black part which is the innermost of all as a causal. By certain signs you can tell when meditation is being rightly practiced. One of them is that a bird will sit on your head thinking you are an inert thing. I first met Keshav at a meeting of the Adi Samaj. Several members of the Samaj were sitting on the platform. Keshav was in the middle. I saw him motionless as a log. Pointing to the Keshav, I said to Madhur Baba, look there, that bait has been swallowed by a fish. Because of that power of meditation, he achieved what he wanted. Name, fame, and so forth, through the grace of God. One can meditate even with eyes open. One can meditate even while talking. Take the case of a man with toothache. Tutor of the Tagores said, yes sir, I know that very well. All laugh. Master smiling said, yes, even when his teeth ache, he does all his duties, but his mind is on the pain. Likewise, one can meditate with eyes open and while talking to others as well. Tutor said, one of the epithets of God is the Redeemer of the sinner. That's our hope. God is compassionate. Master said, the Sikhs too said that God was compassionate. I asked, how is he compassionate? Why? They answered, he has begotten us. He has created so many things for us. He has brought us up to be men. and he protects us from danger at every step. Thereupon I said, after begetting us, God looks after us and feeds us. Is there much credit in that? Suppose a son is born to you. Do you expect a man from another part of the city to bring him up? Tutor said, Reverend Sir, one man quickly succeeds in spiritual life and another doesn't succeed at all. How do you explain that? Master said, the truth is that a man succeeds to a great extent because of tendencies inherited from his previous births. People think he has attained the goal all of a sudden. A man drank a glass of wine in the morning. It made him completely drunk. He began to behave improperly. People were amazed to see that he could be so drunk. After one glass, people were amazed to see that he could be so drunk after one glass. But another man said, why? He has been drinking all night. Hanuman burnt down the golden city of Lanka. People were amazed that a mere monkey could burn the whole city. But then they said, the truth is that the city was burnt by the sighs of Sita and the wrath of Rama. Look at Lala Babu, a well-known landholder of Bengal who renounced the world at an early age and lived at Mathura as a Vaishnava monk. Look at him. He had so much wealth. Could he have renounced it all so suddenly without the good tendencies of his previous births? And Rani Bhavani, so much knowledge and devotion in a woman. In his last birth, a man is endowed with sattva. His mind is directed to God. He longs for God. He withdraws his mind from worldly things. Krishnadas Paul came here. I found him full of rajas. But it must be said that he observed the Hindu customs. He left his shoes outside before entering the room. After a little conversation, I discovered that he had no stuff inside. I asked him about man's duty. He said, to do good to the world. I said, my dear sir, who are you? What good will you do to the world? Is the world such a small thing that you think you can help it? Narayan arrived. Sri Ramakrishna was very happy to see him. He seated Narayan by his side on the small couch. He showed him his love by stroking his body and giving him sweets to eat. Then he asked Narayan tenderly, will you have some water? Narayan was a student at Yam's school. At home his people bet him for visiting Sri Ramakrishna. The master said to Narayan with an affectionate smile, you had better get a leather jacket. Then the beating won't hurt. Turning to Harish, the master said that he would like to have a smoke. Again, addressing Narayan, Sri Ramakrishna said, that woman who has established an artificial relationship of mother and son with Haripada came here the other day. I have warned Haripada very often. She belongs to the Goshpara sect. I asked her if she had found her man. She said yes and mentioned a man's name. We shall stop here. So, spiritual practice is what is needed. We have to act. Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is the action part. Shravan means you have heard the truth. What is truth? Manan, deeply you have thought over it. The final step is action part. Sit and do. Sit and think. Like that. Any question to ask? You are welcome to ask any question you wanted to ask and clarify. without any hesitation, we can ask questions. If you have got big questions, you can ask afterwards. It is practical spirituality. That's all. What is it you learn coming to Vedanta? Practical spirituality. What do you mean by that? I am confronted with anger. I don't become angry. I am confronted with jealousy. I won't become jealous. I am confronted with hatred. I won't be hating. That is your spirituality. Otherwise, what is the meaning of spirituality? Tell me. If you go in your own way, for every small thing you go down, depressed, disoriented, as if you have lost everything. What kind of personality is that? You are unfit even to live the worldly life, let alone spiritual life. Spiritual life means you must be very strong, stronger than the strongest. Vajradapi kathorani. Must be stronger than the diamond. So, you must build up that strength. Build up. You have to do it. Coming to spirituality means fighting with the enemies in the open field. That's the point. And you are conscious of what you are doing. Coming to Sri Ramakrishna means jnana, bhakti, karma, all must be synthesized without any question. Bundle up everything of yourself and put it at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. Tell, I am finished. I am not myself anymore. I belong to you. You are me. Finished. That is practical spirituality. Practice it. Practice it. That is the meaning of conducting retreats. Holding a holy association, talking this, talking that. Why we talk? So that we can practice properly. That's all. Spiritual food. If there is no question, I will conclude. No question? All right. Yeah? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing in His name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy. How huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I am reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for Thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is Thy servant, O sweet one. In Thy mercy consider him as dust beneath Thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when instant separation from Thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with His desire, and the world without Thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at Thy feet let me be in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of Thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of Thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O Thou who stealest the hearts of Thy devotees, do with me what Thou wilt, for Thou art my heart's beloved, Thou and Thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers, may all realize what is good, may all be actuated by noble thoughts, may all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy, may all be free from disease, may all realize what is good, may none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous, may the virtuous attain tranquility, may the tranquil be free from bonds, may the freed make others free. May good betide all people, may the sovereign righteously rule the earth, may all beings ever attain what is good, may the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time, may the earth be blessed with crops, may all countries be freed from calamity, may holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For He being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.